Yo, what's up? Dr. Swole here, MD, pro physique athlete. Today I'm going to be sharing a full 5-day hypertrophy program based on the push-pull legs upper-lower split. Both the push-pull legs and upper-lower splits are popular setups in bodybuilding, but they can be combined into a 5-day setup, and that's what I'll be showing you today. This will be a moderate volume program designed to maximize muscle growth. We'll start with a program walkthrough where I'll share everything you'll need to know to run the program yourself, including exercises, sets, and reps. Then we'll talk about the weekly setup, or how to spread out your workouts across the week. And finally, we'll talk about the pros and cons of this 5-day hypertrophy program. All right, let's do our program walkthrough. So this is Dr. Swole's push-pull legs upper-lower program. It's set with moderate volumes. We've got upper body day, lower body day, pull day, push day, and leg day. Note that the order is switched around from your traditional push-pull legs ordering, which we'll talk about later. Here are the exercises and there are the sets and reps. Down here we have the total number of sets for each muscle group, so you have an idea of workout length. And down here we have the total number of sets for each muscle group each week. Let's start off with our first day, upper body day. We kick it off with bench press for the chest. 3 sets, and we're using a top set back off method here. One top heavy set of 3 to 5 reps, then you're going to drop about 10 to 20% off the bar and do 2 back off sets of 3 to 8 reps. Note that I did give you a wider rep range for your back off sets, so if you want to back off the weight more and do a bit of higher rep work, that would totally be fine. The idea is that we're building strength with that top heavy set and getting in some volume with that lower weight work. Then we have weighted chin ups for the back, 3 sets. One top set of 5 to 8 reps, followed by 2 back off sets of 6 to 10 reps. Again, top set back off method scheme here. So I really want you to be pushing strength on these. Next, incline dumbbell flies for the chest, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Chest supported rows for the back, 4 sets of 8 to 12. Then we have some rope press downs for the triceps, 3 sets of 12 to 20. And then dumbbell lateral raises for the side delts, 3 by 8 to 12. Note that I avoided putting exercises on this upper body day that have a lot of axial loading. Axial loading is compressive forces on your spine, like from heavy rows and such. And that's because we've got a lower body day coming right after that has squats and RDLs. So let's talk about that day. We have squats. We're using a top set back off method again for 3 sets. One top heavy set of 2 to 4 reps, followed by 2 back off sets of 3 to 6 reps. This is quite strength oriented, so I do expect your squat to be going up with this program. Next we have RDLs for the glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Barbell back extensions for the glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And these are where you use a back extension machine, but actually hold on to a barbell for resistance. It almost becomes an accessory movement for the deadlift here. Then we have leg extensions for the quads, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Lying bicep curls for the biceps, 4 sets of 6 to 10. And finally, machine calf raises for the calves. We're using a mile rep scheme here. So you're going to work up to 1 main set of 10 to 15 reps, followed by 5 mini sets of 3 to 5 reps. You'll be using the same weight, but just using short rest periods like 10 seconds. And this is approximated by about 4 straight sets. Then we've got pull day. Our first exercise is Meadows rows for the back. 3 sets, and we're using a top set back off method for these as well. One top heavy set of 6 to 10 reps, followed by 2 back off sets of 6 to 10 reps. These are basically a bent over single arm landmine row. They were introduced by John Meadows, and I find them a really cool variation to single arm dumbbell rows. The problem with dumbbell rows is you are going to get too strong for the dumbbells in your gym eventually. Next we have cable rows for the back, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Reverse grip lat pull downs, also for the back, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Then we have dumbbell lateral raises for the side delts, 4 sets of 12 to 20. We have face pulls, which you can actually perform in a way that will hit your side delts somewhat. So I am counting these for both side delts and rear delts, 3 sets of 12 to 20. Really try and externally rotate with these and make sure you get all the way back so that you can actually hit your side delts a little bit. Then we have barbell shrugs for the traps, 3 sets of 8 to 12. I don't think direct trap work is necessary for most people, but you can fit them in pretty easily on this pull day, since pull days tend to be relatively shorter compared to your other days in a push-pull leg setup. Then we have push day. We start off with weighted dips for the chest and triceps, 3 sets, and we're using a top set back off method here. So you're going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 5 to 8 reps, then 2 back off sets of 5 to 8 reps with 10% lighter weight. And here weighted dips are our main heavy accessory movement to the bench press. Then we have close grip bench press for the chest and triceps, also 3 sets of 6 to 10. Seated dumbbell curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And note that you can actually superset these curls with your close grip bench press if you have a bench. Then we have machine overhead press, 3 sets of 8 to 12. These mainly hit the front delts, but also hit the upper pecs and triceps. Then we have easy bar skull crushers for the triceps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. And finally, cable hammer curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Here, my overhead press takes a lower priority to weighted dips and close grip bench press, and this reflects how I'm using a machine exercise for this movement pattern. If I really want to build strength on a barbell overhead press, for example, I'd probably place it higher up in the workout. Let's go on to our second leg day. First, we have deadlifts for the glutes and hamstrings, 2 sets. And we're using a top set back off method here. One top heavy set of 3 to 5 reps, followed by one back off set of 3 to 5 reps as well. So you'll see in this program that I programmed some work for our squat, bench, and deadlift in the lower rep ranges. This will allow you to build strength while still accumulating lots of volume for hypertrophy with all of your other exercises. Then we have pause squats for the quads, 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps. And here you're basically pausing at the bottom of the movement for 1 to 2 seconds. These are a great accessory movement to the squat to help you build technique and strength. And you'll notice that I've separated them from your squat to give you a higher frequency of squatting so that you can build strength and develop technical adaptations. I think pause movements can work very well for people who are trying to build strength, but also hypertrophy. Even though the rep counts are low, you are spending a decent amount of time under the bar. Then we have machine split squats for the quads and glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 8 to 12. These are basically a standing split squat in the Smith machine. After that, leg curls for the hamstrings, 2 sets of 10 to 15. Leaning cable lateral raises for the side delts, 3 sets of 10 to 15. And finally, leg press calf raises for the calves. We're using a MyRep scheme here again. One main set of 8 to 12 reps, followed by 5 mini sets of 3 to 5 reps. You'll see that I've modified this upper-lower split segment of the program by taking bicep work off of upper body days and moving it onto lower body days. This allows you to train your biceps when they're fresh. This solves one of the disadvantages of the upper-lower split where biceps come after back training and they may not perform as well after being fatigued by pulling movements. Also, it evens out the days because upper body days tend to be longer than lower body days since you have more muscles to train. Okay, now that you've seen the program, let's talk about the program layout. So my preferred ordering of days is upper, lower, rest, pull, push, legs, and rest. Let's break this down. First of all, as we mentioned, we switch up the push-pull legs order of days. This does a few things. First of all, it does a better job of splitting up your axial fatigue. So axial fatigue comes from heavy compressive forces on the spine, from heavy squats, deadlifts, and rows. When we switch push and pull days, your pull day gets separated from your lower body days. That way you can place a heavy row movement on this day if you'd like, and it won't interfere with your squat and deadlift. Also, it synergizes really well with modifications I made where I moved bicep work off a pull day onto push day. One of the major flaws of the push-pull leg split is that biceps and triceps get trained after your main heavy pushing and pulling movements, and they often don't perform as well when they're fatigued in that state, and you won't be able to lift as much weight for as many reps for your curling and tricep work. With this modification, I was able to free up biceps off of pull day, and ideally you want the bicep training to come after your back training. If your bicep training came before your pull day, you may not perform as well on your back training with tired biceps. Note that when we have an upper and lower body day coming back to back, we put the upper body day first because a tough lower body day could affect your upper body day if it comes after. So you'll see that I strategically put rest days after our leg days, which are the toughest days in the program. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this 5-day hypertrophy program based on the push-pull legs upper-lower split. Starting off with the pros, this program is nicely balanced between the upper and lower body. And this is something I do like about the push-pull legs upper-lower split. In the upper-lower split, the lower body naturally gets preference if you have an equal number of upper body days and lower body days. This is because the upper body just has more muscles to train, so you end up having more exercises on upper body days and they can get quite long. So it gets somewhat difficult to balance out your priority between the upper and lower body. In the push-pull leg split, you have 2 upper body days for every 1 lower body day. This can also get a little bit out of balance because you have really tough leg days and relatively easier upper body days. But in the push-pull legs upper-lower setup, you have a balance between the two, so you have 3 upper body days in total and 2 lower body days. Next, this split is good for strength programming. As you saw, we have the ability to train each muscle group at least twice each week, and the days are nicely spread out from each other. So if you wanted, there are a lot of basic strength programs out there that would fit into this programming template in a plug and play fashion. Finally, this program offers a high frequency for bicep and side delt training. And this is a consequence of the modifications I made to the split so that your side delts are getting trained 3 times per week. And I moved bicep training off of upper body day onto lower body day and off of pull day onto push day. This effectively increases your bicep training volume to 4 times per week, since they still are used indirectly on your back pulling movements. I like this for these small muscle groups since they tend to do well with high frequencies. In terms of the cons of this program, we have addressed a lot of the cons of the upper, lower, and push-pull leg splits with the modifications that you saw me make. When you have push-pull legs in the program, one of the inherent disadvantages is that pull days tend to be short. This is because you just have fewer muscle groups to train on those days. As you saw, I tried to address this by moving some side delt work onto pull days. We also added in some trap work for fun. For the most part, I think traps get trained well with back movements, so I don't really think it's necessary for most people to train them directly. That being said, if they are a weakness for you and you have some space in your program, you can throw in some shrugs. Also, with this program, triceps are trained after your pushing movements. Since the triceps are used heavily in horizontal and vertical pushing, they can be fatigued by those compound movements and your triceps may not perform as well on your direct tricep work. This is just an inherent disadvantage of the upper, lower, and push-pull leg splits themselves. I decided to leave them as they are because once you start splitting up triceps from your pushing movements, it can get a little bit more tricky to program in that it requires more auto-regulation. If you have direct tricep work coming the day before bench press, for example, you may not perform as well on your bench press if you have sore triceps. So I will leave those types of modifications to my more advanced programs, which you can look up on this channel. If you want to see an example of a push-pull legs upper lower program with higher volumes than this, check out this video where I outline a full hypertrophy program that you can start yourself. If you want to download the Excel file for this program, I will be sharing it in my Facebook group. Link is in the description below. Make sure you subscribe for more free hypertrophy programs, and we'll see you next time.